everyone, my name is Matthew Hornbostel. I'm a multimedia artist. I work efficiently, cleverly, and effectively on very low budgets, producing results that legitimately impress people with the quality and scope of the creative work and the tiny cost that's involved in making it. In the next 5 minutes, I'll give you an overview of what I've been working on and what I'm developing and releasing on itch.io. First off, I've been making low-budget indie videos with a lot of visual effects sequences and silly comedy for the past decade. I've put together sets and costumes and props, do makeup effects and stunts, and yes, a lot of pyrotechnics, and I did a lot of compositing and 3D animation sequences. Other people would look at this stuff and expect it probably cost thousands of dollars, when it would cost if it were done in Hollywood, but I'm doing everything myself, with no salary, and the cast is a bunch of friends doing it for fun, so the end result costs 10th or 20th what it would have otherwise cost if done by an actual studio. Many of those old videos involved pyrotechnic elements and assorted effects clips I set up and recorded myself, along with numerous 3D objects created and textured for those projects. In 2013, I expanded my own library of seamless textures and high-speed effects elements and made the first major batch of those textures and stock video files available on DVD, sold through my own websites and through eBay. I've also created hundreds of drawings, paintings, pastel art, lots of handmade stuff, and sold those on eBay as well, including a lot of personalized items made to order for, the person who wins the auction. They just decide what they want me to draw and I'll draw it, or paint it, or whatever. The DVDs never sold there very well, but the handmade art eventually took off a little bit. I now have over 360 ratings on my eBay seller account, 100% of them positive, so I have a little bit of a reputation now developing there. I got there by selling the first wave of handmade artworks for under $1, in one case 1 cent, literally 1 cent, and some of them 99 cents. And that got some attention early on and resulted in the first few sales. And eventually they started to break even and sometimes even turn a profit. I'd sell DVDs of stock media for under $1 too at one point. I was losing a lot doing this, and it took a lot of time. But it did result in that first crucial wave of ratings and reviews, which eventually led to the shop becoming viable later on. Even today, the prices remain very reasonable considering the quality of the delivered work. I mean, I make $1 or $2 per hour, basically, when the shipping is factored out and the eBay fees and so on. So I'm still to this day doing not only that, video editing, Photoshop image editing, visual effects and 3D animation, 3D assets, again, under $3 an hour. It's not much, but I'd rather make below minimum wage doing this stuff than working on doing other micro tasks or audio transcription, that kind of stuff, which I've done. I've done a lot of that, and it pays not much better, and it's pretty tedious. Today on Itch, I'm about to pursue the same strategy again, but I'm hoping to gain those precious first few ratings from customers who are thrilled with the quality and the value and the scope of what I'm offering. So here are my collections on itch.io. First is the 2018 complete collection, which includes years of stock media up to summer 2018. Over 1,000 textures organized by category. Image textures, well, some diffuse, but some also corresponding displacement, specular, normal, and opacity maps as needed, whatever is useful for each surface. There's also a batch of decals, which are basically grungy overlays to put on various generic types of surfaces to add variations: wear, tear, sand, grit, dirt, mud, whatever, garbage strewn around, so on, to, for example, make it less obvious that a texture behind the decals is tiling. So all this texture data is potentially invaluable, extremely useful for 3D animation in videos or for video games, for texturing 3D surfaces and objects in a game level. There are also a number of lens, dirt, and flare overlays, images, debris effects and bursts. There are water effects, also designed to be easy to composite. Over 60 pyrotechnic elements, most of them HD, often 60 frames per second, so sort of high speed, shot against black, some of them 120 frames per second, HD. Flames, smoke, lots and lots of explosions. So that's what's there. Great, dirt cheap video elements and effects for visual effects work, and particularly relevant to itch.io, game cutscenes. You could probably make use of a lot of this stuff for game development. Then there's the Autumn Bonus Pack, which is a bunch more of the same, essentially. Another 200 interior design texture image files, and 15 new pyrotechnic clips in HD, including some explosions with sparks, and a lot of fire elements that can be scattered around in a scene, I guess. And on top of all that, there's actual 3D content, or Marshes and Meadows. 3D Asset Pack is the first one I released, and it's getting a major update right about now. So lots of 3D models, UV mapped, textured all efficiently. The FBX and OBJ formats with JPEG and PNG textures. So the scenes, these pretty pictures, these are, all 3D plants and objects that are included in the collection. You see ferns, lilies and lily pads, cattails, swampy trees, marsh trees, grasses, wildflowers, alligator reed, clover, dandelions, and so on. Plus the other assets like the terrain, sky, and water used in some of these 3D showcases, that's in there too. And most of it's very low poly, and the use of the textures in the UV maps is important. It's crucial to give the impression of detail. Even the textures, though, are fairly efficiently mapped and not super high res. So generally these will hold up quite well for both real-time 3D and pre-rendered applications. Beyond the 3D Marshes and Meadows collection, there are two new collections on the way. One focuses on desert and winter scenes. It's called the Snow and Sand Collection. It's of a lot of desert plants, snow-covered plants, and also other surface materials, sand and snow-coated rocks, ground details, and so on. There are also some particle effects clips of sandstorm kind of stuff and snow falling, so that's also included in there. Another, the Forests and Flowers pack, focuses on additional trees with green or colorful autumn foliage, as well as a mix of shrubs and bushes in addition to the trees, and a lot of new flowers, mostly North American flowers that are pretty widespread across the continent. There's also some random undergrowth models as well, twigs, branches, fallen leaf decals, mushrooms, just little things on the ground that you can scatter in forest scene. Even waterfall I'm working on simulating, and will include a projected kind of version of that in demo scene, which you'll see here. And there's even a bonus overlay video element of fall leaves. Now here's the thing, I put countless hours into working on all this, making all this. I've lost track of how many, but it's been a ton of work. I don't want these to just sit unused. I'm continuing to create assets, and despite thousands, I think it's close to 50, 60,000 maybe views on itch.io, and about a dozen sales so far. I'm still not getting a single rating on any of those sales, not a single rating on any of these packs. It's a little bit discouraging. It limits not only the future development of affordable stock media here, because people don't know how good this stuff is unless they buy it and rate it, or somebody else buys and rates it first to make it clear, okay, this is actually valuable stuff and there's a ton of great stuff here. But you don't know that until somebody rates it, and nobody wants to be the first one to do it apparently, because it takes a little bit of time and effort, but it would be really helpful if somebody would do that. Not just for me, but not just for the projects that I'm trying to get done, but for the other customers too, so they know what to expect and from an honest review. And beyond all that, there's some stuff I'm trying to get done. I would really like to be spending my time doing this kind of stuff full time. I'd rather not be microtasking, because I think I'm biased, but I think I have some potential to actually do some really fun, really creative visual stuff. For example, a little indie game, Miniature Multiverse, which I'm struggling to complete. It's a panoramic interface, 360-degree adventure game that allows players to explore and interact with a very wide range of dimensions with an animation-rich worlds. What sets it apart, though, from any conventional adventure game is the game worlds are made in handcrafted wave-scale miniature. They're built, sculpted, physically built in garage and assembled, photographed extensively. These photos are they're basically perspective warped and made into a panoramic view. A bunch of panoramic modes, hundreds of them. Animations embedded throughout, extended digitally. So the sky is added digitally in Photoshop, very high-res images. Animations are embedded and stuff like that. So it's a lot of work. But the end result is the feeling of exploring a miniature in first-person view, and the sense of, I guess, charm that has versus other things. Other art styles. You can click and explore from node to node, wander around in these fantastical places, uncover story, and there's some puzzles too that are kind of easier than some of the ones in the genre. So I think it's pretty well balanced, and it's pretty extensive. There's a wide variety of spaces in here, and I'd like to make more. I have a longer term plan for this thing that involves 25 areas basically. distinct areas, and I've only built about 67% of them, and I've integrated that, and I've prototyped the rest, but I need to actually physically build the rest of it, and that's challenging because, gosh, I've already put about $1,000 into this thing, and it's $1,000 when you get below minimum wage, so it's kind of, it's a struggle. I still need at least another 300 to get this game finished and get it out there, and that's just one a ridiculous number of pre-written article game concepts and developing that I want to see move forward, but everybody keeps asking, when will this be done, when will that be done? And I have a list of things, a roster of things, and all of them are progressing slowly in rotation. They're falling behind and gradually going out of date because I'm just struggling to cover the cost of development. And the underwhelming response to the stock media pack so far is part of that problem. I'm tossing out here like a $20 Reddit ad campaign, and it's kind of that's about how much I have there. So I'm hoping it ends up kind of turning out better than I'm expecting, but I'm not really expecting much at this point. But I hope that things go well. So I'm about 2 months actual work, about $300 short of being able to complete Miniature Multiverse. I need that amount to make it happen. I'll have some other indie game concepts, smaller ones, some of them. Spiral Skies is a little sci-fi mini-game short test thing, and I would like to finish at some point too. Some other 3D, like real-time 3D adventure titles, along with random other things, a little hand-drawn top-down racing game, miniature golf game, which I think I posted an early version of. It's a Vivid mini golf, and it's also made with miniature graphics, mostly. There's other little mini games, pinball concept, and some other little things. Narrative mini games. There's one in a stark graphic novel, black and white kind of style. That's kind of interesting narratively. There's one that's in a painterly style, which combines paintings and portals, kind of. And there are others potentially someday even beyond those. But I'd love to be working on indie games, stock media, handmade art, and video projects, basically. All that creative stuff, full time. And while you can support me on Patreon, and you can buy my stock media packs and rate them, that would be great, but I'm not going to do that without offering amazing value in exchange. So not only are these 5 stock media collections that I've launched basically by now, the time you're seeing this video, not only are they really low priced and really good value to begin with, but all 5 of them will be bundled together, maybe already are. So you could have an enormous multi-year developed trove of awesome assets for your projects, royalty-free. You don't have to credit me for any of this. Just buy the collection on matthornby.itch.io, and you can use them in your own game or video projects. So there's that. They'll all be on sale June 20th to July 4th. And if all goes well, this Independence Day sale maybe will give you an exceptional deal, and me a chance at independent game development and indie art moving forward on Miniature Multiverse and other things. And it'd be great if I didn't have to prop it up with mind-numbing transcription and microtasking that doesn't use my skill set. Gigs that slow my creative work down in an ongoing effort to actually fund it. So yeah, have fun. Check out the links I've included here. One of my main websites is triumphantartists.com. Another one, hornbostelvideos.com, is being reworked heavily about now. And there's miniaturemultiverse.com and vividminigolf.com, I think, are a couple of the others. But anyway. And also, of course, Matt Hornby, that's my name, Matthew Hornbostel, truncated, .itch.io. I also have a few small freebies, one-off little video clips there that I posted. So if you want to, you can take that link, go there, download the free items, and if you want, if you think it could be useful, it'd be great if you buy and hopefully rate the stock media collections while they're on sale.